Hey guys, welcome to Bastion Time. I am your host Bastion. This is Nintendo News. Let's get to that news. Saturday Night Live, not the one that aired this past weekend, but the one before that. I was watching it as I usually do, and there were some pretty amusing Nintendo-related jokes. The first one is they do a parody of the program Fox and Friends, which is like Fox's morning show kind of thing. And in it, Fox is kind of notorious for not always getting the facts right. So in the parody version, they offer this gigantic list of corrections, and it goes by so fast that you can't really read them, so they're always pretty funny, so I always make sure that I've got the pause button ready so I can read through them. And there was a Nintendo one. I mean, there were plenty of hilarious ones, but there was an amusing Nintendo one that was something like, Hong Kong is a territory, not a game by Nintendo. And, pretty funny stuff. Sounds like something that they would, at least the parody version, would say. The second interesting Nintendo joke involved Pokemon, and it was in a fake music video. I can't even really talk about what the music video is about on this family-friendly show, but yeah, wow. But it's talking about being promiscuous. Females, the song is sung by a group of female people being promiscuous. I guess the way I could phrase it is that they're talking about wanting to travel internationally to experience a variety of men, and that they're just like Pokemon, you gotta catch them all. And a pretty amusing little scene with the Pokeball and everything. But anyways, if you want to watch that yourself, there's a link for you down below. Now, I gave Game Trailer's Pop Facts series some grief a few weeks ago because they were kind of pointing out stuff that was extremely obvious, stuff that we already know. Why talk about it as if it's brand new? But this past week, they pointed out some interesting things that I don't think I knew, and I'm sure plenty of Zelda fans probably did not know. Things about the differences between the Japanese version of Zelda 2: The Adventure of Link and the American version of Zelda 2: The Adventure of Link. Some of them are trivial, but still interesting nonetheless. Things like the intro castle that you start out where Zelda is lying down sleeping. In the American version, the design is columns all the way through, but in the Japanese version, it kind of has a slightly different mapping. Just slightly, nothing dramatic. The enemies on the overworld have completely different shapes. I did not know that. The music, when you go into, if you haven't played Zelda 2: The Adventure of Link, why the heck not? But if you haven't, the way it works is very different than Zelda games. It's almost like an RPG. There are representations of enemies on the overworld, and when those touch you, then you're warped into a side view battle sort of screen, and the music that plays during that, first of all, is completely different from the North American version, and was later used in the Minish Cap during the mini-boss fights. I did not recognize this because I've never heard the Japanese version, and that's kind of frustrating. I mean, actually, I guess the North American version music is better, but they should have left that music in there somewhere, I guess. Or maybe, I guess my question is, why didn't they use a different piece of music in the Minish Cap that the whole world would recognize? Anyways, it's kind of cool. If you want to watch that video, there's a link for you down below. And our final story is some ridiculousness that happened on Twitter, where the developer for the Pinball Arcade, I forget what this person's title was, but they were on the Twitter representing the game, the development staff, and somebody asked them, how will the Wii U version compare graphically to the other versions of the game? And the person who represents the developers said some bizarre things. They said, well, the Wii U version would not be as good looking as the PlayStation 3 version. And people were like, what the heck are you talking about? The Wii U is definitely more powerful than the PlayStation 3. I think you're talking about the PlayStation 4, which of course, yeah, it's probably not going to be looking as good as the PlayStation 4 version, and the developer was like, no, of course it won't be looking as good as the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One, but it's still, the Wii U is still less powerful than the PlayStation 3. I think the exact quote is, the PlayStation 3 stomps the Wii U graphically. It's like, what reality are you living in? That's not the case at all. Like, you can compare screens from... It's just mind-boggling, and so, like, this debate continued on. People are like, I think you mean the PlayStation 4? And he was like, no, the PlayStation 3, the PlayStation 3 is definitely more powerful than the Wii U. Eventually, as the debate went on for tweet after tweet after tweet after tweet, the person finally was like, oh, whoops, I was just talking to our graphics guy, and he informed me that I was thinking of the PlayStation 4, that, yeah, it's definitely, the Wii U is definitely more powerful than the PlayStation 3. It's just, why would you, if people are pointing out that your logic is flawed in some kind of way, and you're representing the development team for a game, why would you keep making an ass of yourself? Why would you not step back and go consult with somebody who probably knows a little more than you do before you're poorly representing your development team? Yowzas. Anyways, that's it for this episode of Nintendo News. See you guys tomorrow for more news. Bye, guys.